Elon Musk says this is, quote, very interesting and worth watching. Tucker Carlson has a guest historian discussing World War II. Oh, I'm a middle-aged man. Of course I've read about World War II.
Churchill was the chief villain of the Second World War. Now, he didn't kill the most people. He didn't commit the most atrocities. I think when you really get into it and tell the story right and don't leave anything out, you see that he was primarily responsible for that war becoming what it did, becoming something other than an invasion of Poland.
Okay, claim one is that Churchill is the primary aggressor of World War II, and then he goes on to discuss the Holocaust. That it merely was an unfortunate logistical tragedy because of the invasion into Eastern Europe and Russia.
They were completely unprepared to deal with the millions and millions of prisoners of war, of local political prisoners and so forth that they were going to have to handle. They went in with no plan for that. They just threw these people into camps and millions of people ended up dead there. You have like letters as early as July, August 1941 from commandants of these makeshift camps that they're setting up for these millions of people who are surrendering or people they're rounding up. And so it's 2 months after, a month or two after Barbarossa was launched. And they're writing back to the high command in Berlin saying, we can't feed these people. We don't have the food to feed these people. And one of them actually says, rather than wait for them all to slowly starve this winter, wouldn't it be more humane to just finish them off quickly now?
Because Musk recommended this, and because Musk nominally is a fan of free speech, I think we should quote the best defense of free speech, John Stuart Mill's On Liberty. Quote, "The peculiar evil of silencing the expression of opinion is that it is robbing the human race, posterity as well as the existing generation, those who dissent from the opinion, still more than those who hold it. If the opinion is right, they are depriving of the opportunity of exchanging error for truth. If wrong, they lose what is almost as great a benefit, the clearer perception and livelier impression of truth produced by its collision with error." So let's collide some truth with these nonsensical, erroneous claims. You don't have to believe the interpretations of a single historian. You can read the minute notes yourself. This one took place on the 20th of January, 1942 at Wannsee, Berlin. The conference had been convened to prepare for the final solution to the Jewish question. The aim of this task was to cleanse German living space of Jews by legal means. So, sure, they may have been running out of food on the Eastern Front, but that had nothing to do with the systematic roundup of Jewish people. In the course of this final solution of the Jewish question, roughly 11 million Jews will be taken into consideration. They are distributed over the individual countries as follows. It wasn't just the USSR, Ukraine, Hungary, Turkey, and other places in Eastern Europe. It was the entire continent, including Denmark, France, both the occupied and the unoccupied territories, and what they estimated to be 330,000 Jewish people from England. Which brings us back to Churchill. Now look, he's not always the best guy. For example, he was a fan of the phrase, "keep Britain white." But his decision to actively oppose Hitler at the end of the 1930s was probably the single most geopolitical and economic decision taken in the entire 20th century. This amateur historian claims that had Churchill not been so aggressive, Hitler and Stalin would have simply invaded Poland and that would have been the end of that. However, it runs into some problems. After the interview aired, this amateur historian doubled down. The following month, Chamberlain tendered his resignation and Winston Churchill was elevated to prime minister. Germans who still hoped to make peace, Hitler among them, were dismayed that the chief proponent of escalation had been put in charge of the British government. Why? Why do you think Churchill became prime minister? He never says. But we can find out. Churchill first became prime minister on the 10th of May, 1940. Do you know what else happened on the 10th of May, 1940? German troops invade Netherlands and Belgium. Chamberlain, who thought Hitler could be appeased, steps down. Churchill, who knew better, is the new premier. So some of you might be asking, hey, you're an economics professor, why are you making this content on the history of World War II? Because when folks with as much influence as Musk start promoting this Nazi apologia, it is the responsibility of all of us who care about living in a free world to make sure that error collides with truth.